Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Stellar Lumens, aka XLM. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys, could please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate that. And if you do find any of the information in this video valuable, useful, or interesting in any sort of way possible, definitely hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on, and never miss a future update again. So with all of that in mind, let's talk about XLM. So of course, yes, Bitcoin is giving us a nice sale on a lot of altcoins. I believe that Bitcoin could come down as low as about like 35.7k. If that is of course broken, yes, we will see lower, but for the most part I think that we are at or around our bottoming point for Bitcoin, which of course will be our bottoming point for a lot of altcoins. In fact, for XLM we hit about 17.5 cents, which was absolutely insane, because guess what? We are at now prices, okay, that were never before seen since, like, we're talking about like December of 2020. So almost a whole 2 years ago. That's crazy. Okay, and I shouldn't even say 2 years ago. It's like a year and like 2 months. But still, it is pretty significant to say the least when we are talking about how long ago it was when we were at these prices, and now we are back at them again for mass accumulation before we, of course, know where this is going to go. I know a lot of individuals are probably going to say, hey, we're still in a bear market, this is done, XLM is going to go down to 10 cents, 5 cents, 8 cents, like whatever. Honestly, I don't think that we are in a bear market. I think that we are still in a bull market, honestly. And when we are talking about everything that is happening within a lot of these markets, I definitely think that XLM is one of these assets to really kind of watch for. I know that a lot of individuals talk about, XRP, for example. Like, everyone wants to talk about XRP. I talk about XRP on a daily, but I definitely am not biased towards XRP. I'm not going to be like, hey, I can't buy XLM because I hold XRP. Absolutely not. In fact, we're going to be talking about why you should most likely be holding some XLM if you are an XRP holder. So first off, we're going to be addressing the market. So, when we are talking about cross-border remittances, and when we're talking about cross-border payments as well, like in general, like, the remittance market is pretty significant, $76 billion a year from, U.S. consumers in remittances, right? This is to people in other countries, of course, most likely family. Usually it is family and friends, that receive these payments for the most part. But of course, these are huge. Now, of course, we also look at cross-border payments, right? So $76 billion annually in remittances in the U.S. The cross-border payment market by itself is $156 trillion. This is very significant. Now, I always say, yeah, XRP is definitely going to come after this. They are going after this market share. All of these assets have, in my opinion, the potential to hit about at least 1% of that market share. Okay? 1% of that market share puts it at about almost $6 trillion in market valuation. So think about the price at that overall market cap. I mean, that's significant. For an example, I actually have the Coin Perspective open here. If we hit $1.6 trillion in market cap, we would be at about 62.5 cents. Okay? $62.58. Or an upside of 348x. Now, I know that this is crazy, and trust me, it's not going to happen all at once. It's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen next year. But in time, I definitely can see this happening because we are really focused on many of these markets. And honestly, we even see here, for an example, the digital currency shift, the cross-border remittances report, done in collaboration with Stellar Development, Foundation and Payments, found that 70% of consumers pay, a fee to send money overseas, with 41% paying a percentage fee averaging 6.2% and 28% paying a fixed fee that averages $14.80. That's pretty rough, by the way. I want you to all understand. I mean, when we are talking about the cost, I mean, look at this. This is absolutely crazy when we are talking about, of course, those fees that are, for an example, from an agent or even a retail location. I mean, these are some crazy fees, mind you. And also, they are mentioned in some, high-tier names. Like, here's how brand names increase level of trust in cross-border payments. Look at, MoneyGram sitting, pretty 48.2%. Of course, there's some other names on here, Western Union, World Remit, even Wise and stuff. But for the most part, like Stellar has their hands in this. Okay, do not undermine Stellar at all. Like everybody kind of forgets about XLM when it comes to cross-border payments and stuff because they just think that XRP is going to take over altogether 100%. Absolutely not. There's enough food for a lot of these assets to eat. XLM and XRP definitely will have their place at the dinner table, if you will, because these two are focused on some significant use cases, and there's been already some massive development happening from Stellar's side already. For an example, let's actually talk about some use cases on Stellar right now. This is actually Vibrant. So this is built on Stellar. This is Vibrant. Use case, asset issuance, and access to fiat. Okay. This is actually centered in Argentina. Vibrant is a wallet app developed on Stellar by a team at Sunship Inc., a subsidiary of the Stellar Foundation. By employing Stellar, Vibrant makes it possible for Argentines experiencing inflation to purchase and hold USDC quickly, cheaply, and even easily. So again, this is pretty significant. I think that this is also a very interesting use case. Of course, you guys can see, and let me actually translate this, sorry. Let me translate this to English so that you guys can see. So, of course, the easiest way to protect yourself from devaluation, USDC. The best part about this is that this goes hand in hand with the MoneyGram partnership. If you guys remember the MoneyGram partnership, it was centered around USDC as well. In fact, USDC was quite a I would say it was the spotlighted asset for them to really kind of connect with in terms of the fiat market. But all of this is focused on fiat markets in terms of the retail individual, right? So Vibrant, I protected yours. I protected the value of your salary from devaluation, safeguard long-term value, and have goals in for the future. Store USDC digitally and move securely as an alternative to saving dollars at home. Send USDC to family and friends instantly with no fees. Okay, this is why this is going to be huge for the retail individual and markets. This is why I've always said this is P2P. This is a P2P asset at the end of the day. It's not B2B. B2C and stuff like that. Of course, yes, Stellar can focus on those markets as well, but for the most part, I've always described Stellar as a P2P asset. XRP is more for B2B. Of course, XLM is P2P. And of course, we do see, how Reality Bits powers alternative asset marketplaces on top of the Stellar network as well. This is something that's pretty cool, by the way, just so you guys know. This is private asset marketplace, asset issuance as well. Reality Bits is a marketplace infrastructure provider for private asset investing. It connects verified sponsors and investors to directly transact with each other in a secure and compliant way. By the way, just so you guys know, we do see here, we realized that Stellar was the best fit for what we wanted to do because it specializes in financial assets, in asset ownership, and efficiency of standard. And of course, here's the solution to all of this. First off, look at the challenge, right? You could read all about the challenge if you guys want. It's all about slow and expensive and stuff like that. And here's the solution. Simple user experience, ease of issuing, an asset, speed and zero, fees, an immutable ledger, account creation as well. Here's the results. $1 billion plus in total capital sponsor will raise to launch private offerings, $81 million plus in transaction volume in 3 months, and also less than 5 seconds to contribute capital to an asset. So this is pretty big. You could read all about this if you guys do want. I definitely think that this is also a very significant use case. You guys could read all about Reality Bits as well. I mean, this is for tokenization as well. We are even seeing real world assets, commercial real estate, energy funds, fixed income securities, equities, and more. So this is going to be pretty interesting at scale to see where this actually goes. We even see here everyone can invest in vacation homes, apartments. This is something that's very cool. I think that this is very interesting, and of course you guys could read all about this and look into this more if you want to. But here's sort of like a little bit of an, I would say, kind of an insight on how it would look. We do see buy, sell units and stuff like that. This is Amazon stock, I would assume. So this is something that's very interesting. I definitely think that this is very cool. Of course, here's the investors and partners. We do see some major investors and partners, including Coinbase, and of course Stellar is there. But for the most part, these are major use cases that are already built currently. Okay, and I want you to all understand the things that are happening right now within this market. Also, we go back to October of 2021. Okay, going dark, the growth of private markets and the impact on investors and the economy. This is from the US SEC. Now this ties in directly with the reality bits, by the way, just so you guys know. I'm going to tie it directly in there. Don't worry. I know that you guys are probably wondering, why are we even talking about the SEC, for an example? Is XLM about to get sued? No, absolutely not. I actually want to talk to you guys about this in regards to, private equities and the equities market. So let me find that real quick in this article. Now, this is what I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about. So it does say here, current estimates vary, but generally put the number of unicorns worldwide at around 900. Up from an estimated 39 in 2013, the list now includes not just unicorns, those with an estimate valuation of at least $1 billion, but also those called decacorns, estimated around valuation of $10 billion, and then of course hectacorns that have exceeded $100 billion. And the reason why I bring this up is because something like this is still in its infancy stages on Stellar. And the funny thing is that Stellar is still at about a $4.4 billion market cap. So something like this, if it does continue to grow and prosper on Stellar, it could increase the value significantly for even XLM and Stellar's network in general. And of course, last but not least, I do want to talk to you guys about one last major use case, and that is DSTOQ. I want to say it's D-Stock. So this is access to tokenized assets. D-Stock makes use of tokenized and digital asset issuance on Stellar to provide U.S.-grade securities like Tesla, Google, and Apple stock on their consumer-facing app and B2B API integration to make investing accessible, affordable, and available to anyone with a mobile phone. And of course, you guys can see the challenge here. Honestly, you guys could read more about this if you do want to. I mean, honestly, when we are talking about tokenization, I don't really need to tell you guys about how massive this actually is. But we do see here the results: 100% month-over-month growth in the customer account size, 10,000 plus monthly active customers, 300,000 plus new customers investing through B2B partners, for an example. So this is actually pretty significant, a massive amount of volume. I mean, even here, for a real business to scale up to billions and billions of dollars in assets under management, you don't want to have a system where the whole thing could be hacked and fall apart super easily. That happens once, and that's it. Your company is done. And so Stellar not being, Turing complete and just having security features, all of which happen to be the exact features we need, is for us a massive plus. So again, these companies are realizing the potential behind the technology. D-Stock is pretty cool. I think that this is something that is going to be very interesting as tokenization is taken over. We even seen Swift moving in on tokenization because they do see this being a $27 trillion market by I think they said 24 trillion by 2027 instead of 27 trillion. But again, this is cross-border compatible. This is going to be very interesting. I mean, you could literally integrate with DSOC very fast. Businesses have connected more than 300,000 end users to the DStock API. They know why. 3 weeks average time our customers take to integrate with us. 3 to 15% revenue increase as well. So this is awesome to say the least, and of course you guys can see the prices there if you guys are like an enterprise grade user and stuff. But for the most part, this is something that I think is going to be very interesting. A lot of these are already built on Stellar, and the funny thing is that nobody is watching this. Nobody is paying attention, but I am, because I remember XRP in the early stages before it went to $3.84. Nobody was paying attention to it until it finally woke up. So with all of that being in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.